was responsible. I won't date a bus driver, but will get sperm donors. And we started off, Gina. I don't know if you came in a little late. No, you were on time. I started off making that. A lot of people can make that argument, and it's valid. You saying that you can't have this, you don't want this in a partner. He has to make this salary, he has to be this height, he has to be this, he has to be that. But then you go and decide to start a family on your own. Like, is that better than just taking someone who's okay, not necessarily a bus driver, but someone that's okay? And Gino, that is a fair argument. I know a lot of people are going to come at her with that, to be honest, and it makes sense. But at the same time, we don't know whether she has given those average people a chance. It didn't work, because I had to preface this saying that there's a lot of narrative about people saying that, oh, average men or this men are men. So right. She could have given a $70K guy a chance, and he still was acting up. So some women,
if you know a man that doesn't have money, he still cheats and lies. You right. Could do it a man who's not financially stable, he's still not ready for a relationship.
Make the assumption that if she goes for a man who makes less, or is not as attractive, or isn't on her level, that he's going to be better, that he's not going to give her the same issues. I don't think that's fair to make that argument. I know a lot of people jump to it.
The argument is just that when you take away all the 6 foot, 6 figures, this race, you just give yourself more options. I think that's the argument that is obvious, right? Like when you take away all those, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to not run into some similar issues, right? I feel like this question, like you're asking me, how do I feel about single mother by choice? It's just very what I say nuanced, or kind of, because I'm not in these women's shoes, right? Who am I to tell them? I'm not at that age yet, right? I still have hope that I'm going to get married real soon, start popping out babies. Right? Because I serve a living God, right? So who am I? I don't know how I'm going to feel at 40. I don't know how I'll feel if not married and not partnering. I don't know how I feel at 37, at 36, at 38. Do I just want to deal with anyone just because I'm going to have a child? Do you get what I'm saying? It gets really, really complicated. But me personally.
So what you're saying is that... No, continue. Then I'll ask part 2.
Me personally, I think I'm just extremely biased because I feel like, maybe my upbringing, I was raised by a single mother, and in a sense, she didn't have a choice because her partner died. So she may not fall into this category of women going to sperm banks, right? And that type of choice. But I feel like it wasn't a choice. Like that's not what she wanted. But what can she do? She had to. She had to, right. It's not like she got pregnant. Like, I feel like single mother, there's like different categories, right? That people like
try and put all as one and then shame everyone.
Right. Some different categories. Some people, their partner dies. A lot of women, especially, I mean, a lot of women, their partner passes away. There's women who, their partner leaves. There's women who, they knowingly keep having children with the same guy who's not serious, right? But we know there's all situations, right? So it's not a one size fits all. But I think because of my experience, I don't want that for my child. Me personally, I don't see myself purposely being a single mother, like doing it by choice. But again, I'm still relatively young. Like I'm still not at that. I don't know how, and also I'm not rich.
Thank you. And that's always, I remember that's always a part 2, because I used to always have these arguments with former friends in school. And I had this one friend who always say, if I hit a certain age, I'm just going to have my children like a colleague or a friend. And I think one argument that people make is like, it's kind of selfish to bring in a child with into the world with half of a family, right? Just to bring them in. And it's like, you're taking away half of the family tree. We understand a lot of women who are moving this way, they are very well to do. Mm-hmm. So it's money, as much as people say money doesn't solve all problems, but money solves 90%. It changes the game. These are not 70K earning women, 110K earning women. If these women she can hire she can hire a nanny every 3 hours. She can hire a father at this point. That's when you have a certain level of money, the problems you're thinking about, I'll have to take half of my salary to daycare. She has money for daycare. She has money for childcare. You know what I mean? I feel like it's different when celebrities, we even talk about how a lot of popular Nigerian celebrities chose this path. These are not everyday women.
Right.
They are very wealthy. So I feel like my fear sometimes is when they put this movement out there, I don't know whether it's really representing like the everyday woman, whether it represents women like living an everyday life and an everyday income. And not to say that they're still not making these decisions, because there are still women who are doing it. But I feel like when you see it in the media, it's like celebrities, it's wealthy women, it's women who have a status, women who have a platform, women who have, access. So it's for them, they could say, oh, I just want to be a mother and everything or whatever. And it doesn't hit the same, is a point I'm trying to make. It doesn't hit the same.
Okay, but wonder if the single mother finances is decent, she can afford a nanny or have a great support system. Of course.
Mhm,
Of
that's
course.
um
Of course. I believe that. I mean, I don't, this stuff just gets like talking about ethics and morals. I can't tell people what to do with their life. And some women have that strong desire to be a parent. I don't desire to be a parent by myself.
and that's the point I'm trying to make.
personally,
It's not a package. Some
Right.
women, they're having children by any means necessary. Whether they're married, they're not married, whether they're boyfriend, they don't have a boyfriend, they know they need to be a mother. Period.
Mhm.
Like it's not a oh if I it's not like they don't care. Their desire. I read the articles. Women saying I always knew I want to be a mother. I never really cared for partnership. I never really desired to be a wife, but I know I have to be a mother. So I feel like it's also easy to speak to these things when you're not in that situation. You don't have a strong. I know women who have a strong desire for motherhood. The man is just there so they can get the child, especially from where we're coming from, our cultural background. A lot of women are so hyped on marriage. It's not because of the man. It's because they want a family. It's because they want children.
And the status that it comes with.
Exactly, the status that comes with it. So I don't think it's fair for me to come now and say, well, it's not that serious, or I would never do that, because for some women, that means them never having children. Because at the reality, we're all serve a living God, Proverbs 18:21, blah, blah, blah. Yes, we all know that. But at the end of the day, every woman's not going to get married. That's just the truth. Even if they get married, every woman's not going to get married on time. So for the women who still want children and they may not get married, or they may not get married at an age where having children is easier for them, what do we tell them? What are their options? You know what I mean? Like, I think especially being a Christian is very hard, because I don't want to step on.
I was thinking about that earlier. It's like,
it's faith, and you want to
Yeah.
trust in God, and you want to know. But at the same time, even when I hear certain messages that they speak to women, I don't really agree with it, because I think it keeps a lot of women waiting for something that may not happen on their timeline. And then you come back with a lot of. I know a lot of older women who they had a lot of regrets. If they knew what they knew, they would have just had children. They would have threw away the whole idea of marriage, because a lot of them end up getting married and it's still a disaster anyway. It's not what they thought it was going to be anyway. It's still, nothing's guaranteed, right? Like the idea that because you're married, yeah, like Evie made this point. Hey, Evie, never easy to be a single mother, God forbid. Of course, but then a lot of women are married and they're still basically single mothers. They're still doing everything financially. They're still the ones really taking care of their children. They're still the ones that are emotionally pouring into their kids. The man is there, but it's like, is he really there? So if someone can argue, is that what I'm going to wait for? You know what I mean? Like, and I get it. Like I said, I don't think anyone wakes up saying, I just want to have children. But I just want to be a single mom. I don't want any help. I want to do this on my own. But I do think that, like I said, I've read a lot of articles. The women are usually in their late 30s, their early 40s. These are women who have waited. They were waiting for that partner. They were seeing if it would happen, and it didn't. So at that point, it's like, what do I do now? What's next? I'm getting older. You know what I mean? There's decisions that have to be made, and it's never easy. It's never easy. So Chino said, Pookie is the hood spoon donor for girls in the hood. Plenty of women want random dudes to knock them up while they're young. Then at 35, they want to settle. I've seen it a lot. Why do you think that is? What's the mindset behind that, Gina, if that's true? Even if you're rich, it takes way more than money to raise and take care of kids. Homework, activity, instilling values your children, and creating experiences and memories that bond you. No, I agree with you, Gina. You're not saying, I don't think that money takes it away. I still think those children are still going to fill a void at the end of the day. But someone could argue that children in two-family households still fill that void. Children who have two parents growing up with them, they're still in therapy. They still have issues. They're still on medications. They still have their own problems. So I'll never forget reading a book, All About Love by Bell Hooks. And she talks about this studies done that children who grow up without a father because he is not living fare better than children who grow up with a father who is not present in their life. Like you've done studies on it. And I was like, when I read, I'll never forget, I was on the beach. This was 2021, and I was on the beach reading that book, and it just hit so hard. Like when she had made that analysis. So I'm saying some women that have fathers still have daddy issues. They still have their problems. So someone can argue. Right. End of the day, what really matters, I'm not saying this is what I believe, but I'm playing devil's advocate here. Someone could argue that children have the two family households, they still messed up. They still have their issues. They still don't fare well. I used to think that women who choose to have children by themselves are selfish. I used to think that, like, why would you bring a child into this world and give them half of a family? Even Eboni K Williams talks about how the child will have access to her father, like when she's 18. It will never be a secret. And then she has 5 diblings, which is like donor siblings. So the man has already had 5 children with his donor sperm. So she's going to be like the 6th child. So she'll be able to find her siblings when she's older. I used to think that was very selfish. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like I said, as I've gotten older, the way I see life is very different, and I have more empathy and compassion for people, and I understand that life, especially for women, sometimes you're forced to make some decisions that there's no best one. It's just whatever is going to work best for you at that time. People have to make decisions. Yeah, there's a lot of it, most of it is in gray. Life is not, it's not black and white. Things are not always the way they appear.
Erica K. Williams. So Bowie says Erica K. Williams doesn't understand when you are going for the top 1% man or families. Culture comes first. As a Nigerian man, the woman in the family have to accept her as a wife.
What is this referring to, Bowie? Hi.
It's not black man's fault she's going to a sperm bank. It's very competitive, courting and marrying people inside or outside of your culture. Money can buy quality time, actually being present in a child's life. The child be lacking no father at all, and mother that's barely present or giving them nurturing quality time. Eboni K grew up without a father, so I'm guessing it's normal for her to have a child by herself. I
didn't even think about that, because I think it can go both ways, Lil Ernest. Hey, it's been a while. Hope you're good. I think that women who grew up without a father can kind of normalize it, yes. But I also think there's another extreme of women who didn't grow up with their father, understand what it did to them, understanding like the gap, and understanding like what they feel like they lack from it, that would really be against it. Mm-hmm. So I think it can work both ways. But I definitely see your point. In the fact that it's not something that's like odd for her, because it's something that she grew up with.
Black American culture has changed since the 70s. I'm not sure when the shift happened, maybe the 90s. Black American women used to get married in high school, fresh out of high school, and stay married. Yeah, to the men, right? So 2 people have to agree to get married. It's the
men have to tell you. Do we have evidence now that Black American men are proposing at higher rates and the women are accepting it? Because, we know that's not true. There's a difference with the women and the men.
Yeah, Mia said, do you agree when people say you can't miss something you've never had, pertaining to children that have never had a father in their life or know what it feels like? I don't believe you can't miss something you never had. I think you can miss something you never had, personally. But I'm just curious to know, how do men feel like in these situations? I'm just, I would love, like, if a man just wanted to join the stage, like, as a man, do you feel like it's an insult when you start seeing beautiful, successful women, like, rather than like dealing with, quote unquote, the narrative, the average guy, they just rather do it on their own? Like, do y'all take, because I don't know, because to me, in a sense, I feel like it is kind of an insult to men. Like, I feel like if I was a man, I feel like, wow, like, we got to step up. Like, why are all these women deciding to just have
Gino respond, but I don't think these men care, because I don't think most of them even care, to be honest. Like, I do think it's an insult kind of, because it's almost like I'd rather be by myself than even manage one of y'all. Like, it's better for me just to do it on my own. Like, I don't even have the energy. I don't have the strength. Like, y'all not even worth it. Like, I'll just do it on my own. I would just do it on my own. Like, yeah,
I just also wonder, like, because I don't know any woman personally that has done it. Gino said, restate the question. Do you find it insulting as a man, like, to watch women start, like, choose to be single mothers by choice? Like, at least this is why I look at it. Women who are single mothers by choice, I'm assuming they're not like dating anyone serious, or they don't have anyone serious in their life. Because I would think if you had someone serious, even if he's not ready for marriage, you just try and have a child with him, if you could have a child, right? Unless there was like issues with conceiving.
Right.
I'm assuming that they're just not really interested in dating. And again, this is all an assumption. They're not interested in dating. They don't have anyone serious around them that they would just consider being partnered with and having a child with. I've even heard of some women who are just, they're not interested in men. Like they've been hurt so many times. They're just like, I'm going to go and have my kids and enjoy my life with my kids. So in that case, as a man, my question is, do you take it personally that there's a wave of women who are just deciding that, okay, I just want to have a child on my own. I don't want to be bothered with men. Like it's that bad out here almost. Like it's that like I'm better off by myself. I'm better off raising a child by myself than being partnered with a man. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking into it too much, but for me, I feel like if I was a man and I saw this trend happening over and I would kind of feel like, wow, like we got to do better.
Kind of how like when the passport bros and they leave, but I don't get insulted. But I think look, I think it equates. I could use like the passport rules for example, because let's be real. I feel like a lot of men that do it are not the most desirable men. So I feel like a man. I feel like it's different. Would a man feel a certain type of way if they feel like beautiful, successful, good women are doing it and not giving them a chance, or is it women that they feel as if have nasty attitudes or nobody wants or they wouldn't want to even date are doing it? You understand what I'm saying? Like I think it depends on the type of women who are making the decision. Like if you had a woman who really liked you, you're trying to give her a chance, she's like, no, I really don't want to give you a chance. And next year she went and had a child from a sperm donor. It's like we could have had a child. Like why did you know what I mean? Like why did you make that decision? So I think it depends on the type of women that but Gino answered, I'm not a man, so the men give y'all.
Brooke City says probably easier for her. She can have her baby and heal and not have to worry about a man talking about his needs.
Yep.
Back in the 40s and 50s, there were more single white women than black women. Evie says, I'm offended and I'm a woman, especially if they're dating different men and bringing them around the child they choose to have by themselves. Interesting. As a Nigerian-American, you need to look up statistics on two-income Nigerian households round up to 80,000, while the African-American household is less than 50,000. I'm not understanding how this is relevant to the conversation. From when I was age 16 to 47, I have met women every year willing and asking for a baby from me and not wanting marriage. Okay. They don't want to submit to men.